think a lot of people are sleeping on Jermel as the times gotten closer and closer. And I've been seeing Charlo. I think he's dedicated. I think he's disciplined. I think he's taking the training camp seriously, and I seriously think he has a high chance of pulling the upset. You know, because I saw a comment. They said Joe Joyce fights like he's underwater, and I thought that was completely true, man. And I don't know why they added even more weight to him.
I just believe he has more power than Salt Papi, and he's gonna use his reach, his height, and hopefully the second he lands that right hand, man.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Last Round Boxing Podcast, where we go from traditional to influencer and everything else in between boxing. My name is Rudo.
Pablo.
Also,
And this is the Last Round Boxing Podcast. We got a very interesting week of fights this Saturday. You got probably the biggest one of the year. We got the Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Charlo for the 168 belts. I'm very excited for that. I think it's been a long time. I've been waiting for a very long time for this fight, and I think a lot of people are as well. Have you guys changed your predictions since the last time we spoken about it?
yeah, I think that finally it's fight week. Undisputed versus undisputed, history in the making. And like you said, this fight has been announced for a very long time now. I've been waiting for it for a while, and I'm finally excited it's here. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Jermel. He is 154, but let's not forget, undisputed champion nonetheless. Coming up in weight, fighting Canelo Alvarez. I think it's a closer fight, man. As the times gotten closer and closer, and I've been seeing Charlo. I think he's dedicated. I think he's disciplined. I think he's taking the training camp seriously, and I seriously think he has a high chance of pulling the upset.
Wow.
I disagree. I think Canelo's gonna wipe him. I mean, he's going up 2 weight divisions. I mean, Canelo has been fighting at 168 for well over a year. He's gone up all the way to 175 to fight. Hasn't been hurt by any of the guys there. He's lost against Bivol, but Bivol's a big guy, good boxer. If Charlo wants to win, he's gonna have to do something big in my eyes. Regardless, I don't think he has the skill sets, or he does have the skills, but I don't think he has the necessary skill sets to beat Canelo. I think a lot of people are just underestimating Canelo just based off his past performances, and he himself has admitted that his last few fights have not been the best. He hasn't felt at 100%. And what I've seen from him in this training camp is just a different. He looks more fueled up. He's been saying he feels 100% with his hand, which was one of the big problems that he was having in his past or in his previous fights. So I'm seeing a very different Canelo in this training camp, and I think he himself knows that he needs to put up a great performance. And so I'm more than 100% confident that he's going to show us something different, or something like the old Canelo was back, when he was in his prime. So I think Canelo's going to pretty easily, not easily, but I think he's going to defeat Charlo by decision.
That would have been my same thought process a couple weeks back, but I think getting closer to the fight and seeing what I thought were advantages to Canelo and actually putting them head to head, I think it's more even than we actually realize. Firstly, let's talk about the weight. Okay. It is 2 divisions. That's a lot of weight. I'm not going to lie to you. But given the context of the actual fight, let's not forget, Canelo is 5'8", 5'8 and a half.
Short king.
He's a short. He's a short guy. So he just has a naturally wider body, to where he was killing himself to make those lower weights. 147, he was absolutely killing himself just because his body is just wide enough. He just holds more weight, whereas a guy like Jermall Charlo is 6 feet tall.
Yeah,
he's 6 feet tall, a big boy. I don't know. You don't tell me how he makes 154, right? Because he looks like the 168 pounder, So he's a big guy. So the weights, yes, I understand that it's been a very big talking point in the lead up to this fight, but I think in the All Access that Showtime put out, even Jermell Charlo said to his team, he's not that big. He's not that big. He's like, I feel like I'm back at 154. You know, he's gonna be not dehydrated. You know, he's gonna be able to eat as much as he wants throughout the training camp. He's gonna feel better. His power is gonna be there. He's gonna be full. No dehydration for him whatsoever. So weight would not be a problem for him. But the skills, I think the skills is another aspect we have to get into. Jermall Charlo, firstly, has a very good team with him. His trainer, Derek James. His trainer, Derek James, one of the best trainers as well. And we've seen in Jermell's previous fights that he is able to make adjustments. In his second fight against Castaño, he made incredible adjustments because their first fight, very close, very competitive. Even Castaño was even able to rock Jermall Charlo at one point in the fight. But the second fight was a completely different story. Jermall Charlo knew exactly what he needed to do to change to get the fight in his favor. And that's what he did. He went in there, applied the game plan very, very well, and was able to knock out Castaño. So I think if Jermall Charlo comes into this fight with a clear game plan and Derek James, they, you know, cook up something in the gym and he sticks to it, I think he has a chance to beating Canelo.
I don't think so. Castaño and Canelo are two different fighters. Charlo has never fought anyone near the level of Canelo.
That is true.
Never. You could say that his hardest, his toughest opponent has been Castaño, and you can't. It's hard. You can't mimic Canelo. I mean, you can mimic Canelo's style, but just the level is just completely different. And I think Charlo's but I believe he's very underestimating Canelo at this point. Because like I said,
I believe Charlo's underestimating Canelo.
Yes, I believe he's underestimating him.
I think it's the other way around.
No, I don't think so.
I think even the boxing world is kind of underestimating Charlo.
No.
I'd say the favorite.
The favorite is
Canelo.
Yeah, obviously the favorite.
Clearly,
Canelo's always gonna be the favorite. But technical difficulties. But we're back. But what I was saying, I believe Charlo is underestimating Canelo. The way he's been portraying, you know, back even when Canelo fought Plant, the Charlos were there, and both of them were saying, you know, oh, like, I could be Canelo. And even in this training camp, during the All Access, you know, it showed clips of Charlo saying, like, oh, like, Canelo, you know, I can beat him. And this whole team was like, yeah, like, there's no way he could, you know, he's not going to be able to. You know, they're just saying stuff, you know. Of course, he has great respect for Canelo and what he's done. But I think him and his team think they have Canelo in the point of his career where he's beatable. So that's what I'm seeing. That's just what I'm getting based on what I've been able the clips that have been going around of Charlo.
Well, I mean that's fighter talk. I mean, I don't think a fighter would accept a fight and say, yeah, I think this guy's gonna beat me. So Charlo definitely is coming into this fight, you know, high confidence. Just like you said, a lot of people are talking about Canelo's not, I guess, age, but just his decline. You know, his previous fights, we haven't really seen the old or the Canelo that we're used to seeing. He's been getting tired towards the later ends of the fights. And yeah, he just hasn't, his performances haven't screamed pound for pound like number one as they usually once did. So, you know, and if I was in Charlo's corner, I mean, I'd be saying the exact same thing. If I'm being logical, his last couple of fights, the old adage in boxing, you're only as good as your last fight. You know, it's an old adage, and it was originated for a reason. You know, am I saying that Canelo is not the same? No, but I'm saying if I were a betting man, you know, if I were to see the trends, he is declining. There's no doubt about it. His last fight was not the very best. However, you know, I say all this to say it is, in my mind now, it is a closer fight than what I originally thought it to be. You know, but if I were to pick a winner, who would I choose? I think I'd still choose Canelo.
Yeah.
But I believe I would not be surprised if Charlo was able to pull off the victory.
Yeah, it's interesting. A point that Pablo made was that I think the timing is perfect. I think, you know, I've seen the clips on All Access and whatnot, Charlo's team, and Charlo himself being like, oh, I can beat him. He's a smaller dude. It looks like I'm still fighting at 154, given that his previous opponents at that weight are sort of that height as well. You know what I'm saying? And but that hasn't been the only time where he's been like very confident stuff like that. Both him and his brother have both been saying for the previous years like, oh, like we can beat Charlo. We want to fight we want to fight Canelo. We can beat Canelo. But it's taken up until this point to actually for one of them to actually really sign the fight. You know what I'm saying? And I think it goes back to the thing like perfect timing. Like what you said, Canelo's previous fights not the most pay-per-view worthy. Not the not. It doesn't look like he's the face of boxing type performances.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. You know, he's won, you know, gotten the wins and stuff like that, but it's not the old Canelo. And I think, you know, that's what prompted Jamal to actually now sign the fight, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's a good sign that Canelo is, like you said, Canelo is aware that his last fights haven't been the Canelo standard. You know, he's aware that the critics are chirping at him. And, you know, that could also motivate him, you know. He's changed his training camp a little bit. I believe he's training in Big Bear.
I'm not sure if Big Bear, but I believe it's called Lake Tahoe.
Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
He's training over there, high altitude. So, you know, that's a good sign. It goes to show that, you know, he is aware of it and he's actively trying to change it. You know, so that's a good sign. You know, he's always had critics, Canelo, so maybe they fuel his motivation.
This is a question that I wanted to ask you guys. Is at this point in time, who else within the opponents of Canelo, where will you guys rank Charlo? How dangerous of an opponent is he compared to some of his other previous?
I mean, I think he's definitely up there, man. I think he's like, if we're talking the past, he's definitely John Ryder. Easy. He's definitely harder than John Ryder. He's definitely better than the last Triple G fight. Triple G, you know, he's getting old now. He's at that age. You know, he's just not going to be performing as much as well as he used to do. You know, so I think it was a clear Canelo should have easily won that fight, and it was closer than I feel it should have been. You know, Canelo as well in that fight showed towards the later rounds that he started, you know, gassing down a little bit, declining. But I believe it's one of those, like, let's keep it a stack. This is a undisputed champion. Yeah, he's at 154, but he's an undisputed champion, all 4 belts. I think this is like a Caleb Plant, you know, Billy Joe Saunders up there with those guys. You know, this is a dangerous opponent who's tricky, able to make adjustments, and has a great head trainer in his corner. So it's a deadly combo.
I don't think Charlo's a tricky opponent. I think he's just a very strong opponent. Because, I mean, he's a good boxer, but he's not... He's known more for other things rather than his boxing, you know. But to all aspects, I agree with you. He's definitely the biggest threat since Bivol. You know, better than, you know, the last John Ryder and also the last Golovkin fight. But from Bivol, and, like, he is, like, I agree, he's one of the more opposing threats in these last couple years, you know, up there with Caleb Plant and... maybe not Bill. I think a little over Billy Joe Saunders, but around that Caleb Plant type. But one of the things I do see in this fight that's gonna play a factor is the activity. Because I mean, Canelo last fought back in May. He fought back in last year during against Golovkin in September. He's been pretty well active throughout this past year and a half. While Charlo, his last opponent was against Castano back in May. April or May or June? Was it June?
Was it last year or 2
years?
years?
It was last year.
Last year.
He has not fought in over a year. And one thing that in boxing that you know that's really important is that, you know, activity matters. You see a lot of these top fighters, you know, take a big long break, and when they come back, they need to get some of the cobwebs out of their system, you know. And especially for a big fight like this, you know, Charlo's heading into the biggest fight of his career. For him to have over 12 months of inactivity, I believe will play a huge factor in this fight.
Yeah, that's a good point. Charlo hasn't been nearly as active as Canelo. He is coming off what I would assume is a very long layoff for him in his career. Yeah, so hopefully, you know, he'll stay in the gym in between those times. You know, sometimes boxers like to take a little break when they're not in training camp. But, you know, I think talks of the, like, rumors of a mega fight between one of the Charlo brothers and Canelo has kind of been in the air for a while.
Oh, a very long time. I
Yeah, a
think.
very long time. So hopefully Charlo, was in the training camp, getting ready.
And to be honest, just from the looks of it, I think he is the twin brother that's a little bit more dedicated, maybe a little bit more hungry or whatever, just based off his other brother. I think he's fighting demons outside of the ring right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can get his situation situated. But yeah, I believe he'll be 100% ready, hungry. Just even some of the clips that I've seen on the All Access on Showtime. He seems ready. Like he seems like this. Like he understands this is the biggest fight of his career. This is even though he is a what do you call it?
Underdog.
Underdog, but he's also an undisputed champion. You know what I'm saying? But he's the B side. So it's definitely a change in perspective. Like he's definitely gonna feel it. Come the press conference, the weigh-ins, like the magnitude of this fight is gonna be bigger than any of his other fights, and I believe he is ready for it. I think it goes back to perfect timing. So yeah, I think he'll be ready to soak up this moment, and we'll see if he can pull it out. But to be honest, I'm gonna ride with my boy, with Canelo. So that's how I feel about that.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question. Let's go into a hypothetical that Jermell Charlo knocks out Canelo Alvarez.
Oh God.
Will he be the face of boxing? Because we just had a very recent development of fighters trying to fight for the number one spot. We had Inoue showing a masterclass performance against Fulton.
Yeah.
He was undisputed. Not undisputed. He was number one pound for pound for a couple of days until Terrence Crawford absolutely dismantled Errol Spence, and then the majority of the boxing community now puts him at the top of the number one pound for pound. But now let's say that Charlo beats Canelo. Yes, convincingly. Either knockout or decision, clear decision, no controversy. He beats Canelo. Will Charlo be not only number one pound for pound, but also the face of boxing?
Yeah, I think it does. I feel like even if it's a close fight or whatever, if Charlo is able to get the victory, I would say, yeah, he replaces Canelo. I think that just what happens, he beat the guy who is the face of boxing, then yes, I would assume so. Yes, he's not only the number one pound for pound, but he would also be now the new face of boxing. I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, wouldn't it kind of depend on how he beats him? Like, yeah, he could knock him out, but let's say it was a very close fight and he knocks him out. There's a difference between him knocking him out in a close fight versus him knocking him out in a dominant fashion, like the way Crawford beat Spence, stopped him. He won nearly every single round, beat him up. Same with Inoue and Fulton, just beat him up. I think it has to take a very special performance in order for Charlo to be put into number one, even if he does beat Canelo. Because there's still going to be people, he beats Canelo, he beats him by decision. There's still going to be a lot of people saying, oh, but Crawford destroyed Earl Spence and became two-time undisputed. He's still number one pound for pound. They maybe put Charlo top 3, easily top 5, but maybe top 3 up there with probably take out Usyk and put in Charlo in there with Inoue and Crawford. But I don't believe he's gonna be number one pound for pound, regardless if he wins or not.
Wow, that's interesting. It's a bold statement, man, because this is a very high magnitude fight. I'm sure I'm not sure if it'll break records, but definitely be a high record fight. A lot of people, face of boxing on the line, 2 undisputeds, first time in history. Jermell Charlo going up 2 weight classes. If he beats Canelo, I'd say I'd give him number one pound for pound. I don't know face of boxing, because I feel like with the face of boxing title, it's not only like being pound for pound, but it's also kind of like carrying the sport. Like Canelo has been kind of carrying the sport, He's like, when you think about boxing, sometimes you may not think about the most technical, best, no mistakes type of guy. You think about the guy who's like the most popular kind of, but also with skill.
Yeah,
so
almost associating the fighter with the sport, almost like that.
Exactly.
It's like NFL or football with Tom Brady or something like that.
Exactly. So I don't know about face of boxing because there's obviously a lot of guys right now that are very very popular and also have a lot of skills. So that would be a difficult one, but I think he would be pound for pound number one. Just because firstly he's gonna go down in history forever. Like this is legacy building. He was already undisputed 154, goes up 2 weight classes, beats the Kingpin. Man, like this is a crazy storyline. So he's gonna be building a legacy. Also, if he wins, he has so much more he can do. There's talks of Terrence Crawford wanting to move up to 154. He can go down and defend his throne at 154. He just opens up a lot of opportunities for him. His legacy just becomes even bigger. I'd give Charlo, pound for pound number one if he were to beat Canelo.
Plus, you got all those eyes, tuning in for, Canelo's fans and whatnot. Like, if they see their boy get beat, well, in theory, I would assume so, that counts us out. And there would be a new pound for pound, new face of boxing. Yeah.
Yeah, but you already know I think you brought a good point. The Canelo haters would all be like, even if Charlo would win, he'd be like, oh, but he was going down in his career. Oh, his last fight wasn't that good. Oh, this and that. So it shouldn't count that much. It's like, man, this is a huge achievement if Charlo does this.
Yeah, but not only that, I feel like there's a lot more haters though, for sure.
Definitely.
That Canelo has, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy how much like negativity this guy has, bro. Like, it's kind of crazy. He can't do anything right.
He can't do anything right. It doesn't matter if he does the right thing or the wrong thing. They'll still have something to say.
They'll have something to say, yeah. So I'd say it's like a kind of a lose-lose for Canelo, because it's like he wins, everyone's gonna be like, oh, he's small. Like
he's coming up 2 weight classes.
Like they're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna say something dumb that's just like obviously like just dumb, but they're just hating. Or he loses, and then he loses.
So. He loses, and then that's when the haters are really gonna be loud as fuck.
It's a difficult position Canelo is in. I feel like the only way he can avoid it is just like absolutely thriving. You know what I'm saying? Like completely exceeding expectations, showing everyone why he's still that guy in boxing. But I'm excited for this fight, man. This is gonna be a spectacular fight, I feel.
Yeah. Before we move on, do you guys think there will be a knockdown though?
Oh, this is hard.
Well, I'm predicting a Canelo knockout.
KO?
I think he's gonna stop him.
You think he's gonna stop Charlo?
I think he's gonna stop Charlo.
What round? Later, early?
It's gonna be late rounds, but I believe he's gonna stop him. Like I said, I genuinely believe Canelo is going to want to prove something in this fight, and he's been working on it on the gym in his camp. And I believe this Saturday he's going to show the world why he's still the face of boxing and why he should be considered still on the top argument for number one pound for pound. So Canelo knockout for me.
Dang, I'd say I don't think there's going to be a knockout, or it's more likely a knockdown. But I don't think there's going to be a knockdown either, honestly. I think this fight's gonna go decision. Decision? Yeah. If I was a betting man,
they both have the power.
They both have the power.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one thing,
And going back, Charlo is the big dude. I would assume some of that power will move up.
Oh, definitely. Now, he's not gonna. He doesn't have to cut all that weight. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be rehydrated and all this. His power should be full. He should definitely come in there like strong. I'd say his strongest yet.
Yeah. But if I'm gonna say if there is a knockdown, I think it would be I think it would be more in Canelo's favor.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I see more of a TKO for Canelo. Yeah, stopping Charlo. But yeah, I think it's just gonna go to decision. I think decision for Canelo.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to bank on the fact that like Canelo's gonna show like a completely new form. And me personally, I just don't see it. I think he's going to perform well. I'm not saying he's going to perform bad or he's going to look old or none of that. I think he's definitely going to perform well. I'm sure he's training like crazy. I just don't think he's going to like completely just like show number one pound for pound skills, So I think Charlo's as well going to go in there. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. That's one thing. I think it's actually going to be very competitive. Charlo has underrated movement. Especially in his last fight against Castaño, he showed that he can also fight off the back foot with different angles, moving while Castaño's pushing forward. So Charlo shouldn't be too worried about the forward pressure. He should be kind of used to it. Yeah, I mean, it's also one thing you know what you're getting yourself into when you fight Canelo.
Yes.
He's gonna go forward with his hands up. So, yeah.
Well, moving on. Speaking about old and due to the respect of the sport of boxing, 40-year-old Zhilei Zhang got the TKO victory over Joe Joyce this past weekend. Wow, I think that's knockout of a contender for sure, like highly up there. This was a rematch. I was kind of to be honest, I was not expecting this at all. I was expecting a little bit. I was actually expecting Joe Joyce to kind of get his lick back, but no. It seems as though Zhilei Zhang is kind of showing us that the number 40 is just an age. It doesn't really matter.
I think it's the other way. The 40 is just a number.
40 is just a number.
It's just an age.
It is.
I guess so. It is. Yeah, man. A repeat and a worse repeat. We had that first fight between Zhilei Zhang and Joe Joyce, and in that fight, Joe Joyce was getting absolutely battered, like completely just destroyed. But he didn't get knocked out. His eye got closed, and to the point where the doctors had to step in and call the fight, and he activated the rematch clause almost immediately. He seemed, I guess in his mind, he thought it was a fluke. And in the lead up in the press conference, he was saying, that fight just highlighted some mistakes that we had to change in the gym, and they showed in the fight. But now I tweaked them, and then now we're gonna go in there and show the best self. Yeah, that didn't happen, man. That was Zhilei Zhang went in there, and there's a reason why they call him the Big Bang, cause man, that was just like you said, knockout of the year. Crazy, short-lived fight. As short as it was very entertaining. Zhilei Zhang showed that he not only has power in his left hand, which was the key punch in the first fight, but he also showed that he has power in his right hand by knocking Joe Joyce out with a right hook. So, congrats.
Yeah, I believe Joe Joyce's team had a bad game plan because he came in really heavy for his fight, like 25 pounds or so heavier for the rematch than in the first fight. And I believe that his team was banking on the fact that he's gonna come in, heavier. He's gonna be able to be a lot more stronger in there. That's what they were hoping for Joe Joyce to be able to do. Maybe take more of the punishment from Zhang, or the Big Bang. But I mean, if you look at Joe Joyce's career, throughout the years, you can kind of tell what his style is. He's not really a head movement. He's not really slick. He's not really that. He's just a juggernaut, like his nickname implies. He just goes at you and pressures you and just breaks you down like that. And that style was, as shown in the first fight, was just tailor-made for the Big Bang. He was just picking him off with that left hand. And, him being heavier for the rematch, kind of, once you're heavy, your movements are more sluggish, maybe you're more on your feet, you're not more on your toes. And for Joe Joyce, he's already that type of fighter, regardless. So adding that extra pounds to him, just made the night, maybe a bit more easier for the Big Bang to knock him out.
Yeah, like Joe Joyce is as flat-footed as they come, man. So, when they put those 30 pounds on him, I don't know what they were thinking. Because I saw a comment. They said Joe Joyce fights like he's underwater, and I thought that was completely true, man. And I don't know why they added even more weight to him. So yeah, he went in there, looked very sluggish, slow. Zhilei Zhang, being 40, completely more explosive than him, like completely faster, quicker, better reflexes even. It was amazing to see that Zhilei Zhang being so sharp in that fight and so confident as well. Just like you said, Joe Joyce has a reputation for being that big guy, pushing people forward, bullying you in the ring, making it rough. But the big, Zhilei Zhang was not afraid of that. In fact, he invited it, and he was going forward, and Joe Joyce was the one that was going backwards. Yeah. So it's a bad night for Joe Joyce. He can't fight off the back foot. He has one movement, and that's forward. So if he's not going in that direction, then it's not going good for him. But Yeah, so
Yeah,
knockout.
I would say since I believe it was like the first really strong like left hand that Zhilei Zhang landed on George Joyce immediately right away. I think that his demeanor kind of changed. You know, immediately he started like going on the back foot, being a little hesitant, not really going forward anymore. And then from then on, it was really just Zhilei
Zhang.
Zhang,
Zhang.
Zhang. Daily Big Bang. It's called Big Bang. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and then after that it was just all his whole fight, and then came the knockdown. So, yeah, I mean, I was really surprised to see that him being 40, he did not look like he was 40. He looked like the other way around. You know what I'm saying? His movements were there, crisp, the game plan, everything. The speed was kind of speedy as well. But then again, when you're fighting against a guy who really just fights on the same gear,
Yeah.
But I mean, he looked good though. I mean, so good that he even called out a Tyson Fury. Is that something that you guys would want to see?
Well, I mean, I guess it's up to Tyson Fury because like he's operating on his own time. He's got his own calendar. I don't know what he's doing right now. He's talking about after this fight with Ngannou having a UFC fight with Ngannou. Well, we don't know how true that is, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think Zhilei Zhang obviously put up a fantastic performance. All credit to him, but Joe Joyce wasn't a kingpin of the heavyweights. He's not the top dogs. The top dog. We got Usyk, we got Tyson Fury, and I guess we can throw in two extra candidates. Joshua and Wilder, but their careers are a bit shaky. But for me personally, if I was Zhang, there's two ways. Firstly, he is older. He is on the older side. He is 40. So if he feels that age and he only has a couple of fights in him left, then I'd say yes, push for Usyk or Tyson Fury. But if he feels he got a couple more years in him, I'd say personally fight Anthony Joshua. I think that'd be a great fight for him because he definitely can beat Joshua, man. I definitely give him some chances to beat Joshua. Very close fight. He has a chance to pull off the upset, and that would give him the notoriety that he needs to now. If he were to fight a Usyk or a Tyson Fury, there'd be a very massive buildup. It'd be now two big names. Zhilei Zhang, not a lot of people know who he is. He's not a very household name heavyweight like a Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua. So, but if he were to beat one of those guys, boom, his stock goes up. And then now when he fights in Tyson Fury or Usyk, the negotiations, can be a little bit more even. Whereas I feel they would try to take advantage of his, not big name. Lack of fans, So, me personally, I'd love to see those fights. I think he has a future in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, going back to what you said about, I think you make a good point about the, if he feels that he's running out of time, maybe just actually push for those big fights. And if not, if he feels he still has a couple more fights in the vault, then of course he should try to, try to build this up. But I believe now, based on these past two performances against Joe Joyce, people are gonna be a bit more hesitant, especially these elite fighters, to fight him because I mean it's a bad risk because he's not a big name like that, and if they lose, then
They lose.
Yeah,
It's a lose-lose situation.
So if I was in the Big Bang's team, my route would be maybe taking a fight against Andy Reese.
It's
A good fight.
it's another good prospect. Yeah.
A great fight because Andy Reese has been itching to get a big name. He wants to get a Joshua, a Wilder.
That boy desperate.
He's pretty desperate. He's been calling them out. He's been saying he's in the gym. He wants these big names. But I mean, Andy Reese has to prove something himself. That he still has it within him to fight against these elite fighters. So maybe a fight against the Big Bang could help both of them. Regardless of who wins and who loses. The winner could possibly get a big fight against a Joshua, maybe a Wilder, Usyk. A title shot. But it all comes to time. But if I was in the Big Bang's team, I would push for an Andy Reese fight.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd say even him. Well, I mean, maybe he's just talking shit, and but it's very ambitious of him at that age to call out the kingpin of the heavyweights. So, that maybe gives us a little insight to where he feels, he definitely wants this. I mean, he's got some ambitions. He's not done yet. Yeah, he's 40, but guess what? He's as better as ever. He's ready, and he wants to go in there and throw a wrench in the mix, man. I feel he just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing about him a couple years ago, but I feel like I don't know if he lost or he drew.
There was a fight where he lost. It was a decision against another guy who
Yeah.
was up and coming heavyweight prospect. I can't remember the dude's name. Eastern European. Yeah.
And after that loss, I kind of stopped hearing about him. And he kind of just went into the shadows. And then out of nowhere, he comes in and he just stops Joe Joyce. I'm like, let's go. I'm like, yeah. I'm a fan, me personally. Zhilei Zhang, I'm a fan of him. He's 40, but hey, he's someone's grandpa, but he's still pushing it. He can still beat these young fighters up. So
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like what you said, I like Zhilei Zhang. I've been following him not for so long, but since I remember hearing him, that Big Bang, and just seeing him fight, like the nickname and everything, just kind of like it makes sense. He's a really entertaining guy, really fun guy to watch, and he's got power in both hands. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to ruin the hype train or whatever, but I believe Zhilei Zhang, he's kind of at a crossroads right now. He's 40, but he doesn't look 40, and that's really good. Especially in a sport as savage as this. But I think right now he really wants to become a world champion, right? Because he's right there. The door to potentially retirement is right around the corner. But he also wants the money fights too, and I think either he has to choose one or the other. Like an AJ fight, I'm pretty sure he would want to fight Anthony to get his get back. In the Olympic Games of 2012 in London, he fought Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua beat him. But not only did he beat him, but he also dropped him as well. Dropped him.
got some unfinished business.
Unfinished business. That now, since they're both pros, I would assume that he would want to get his get back. And that's a big money fight. AJ sells. He has a whole country behind him.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he would like to get his get back. But that in turns means that he won't get a belt, since he doesn't have a belt. But if he goes for Tyson Fury, I feel like he might not even get the same amount of money that he would get against someone like an AJ, stuff like that. Or even fighting someone like Wilder. It's like, yeah, he gets the money, but he doesn't get the world championship status.
Yeah, actually, I kind of completely forgot that Zhilei Zhang actually is mandatory now. He's mandatory for all the belts that Usyk hold, which is the IBF, WBO, and WBA, if I'm not mistaken. So he's mandatory. So, he's knocking on Usyk's door, and I guess it's up to him, if he wants to go Usyk or if he wants to fight a money fight. I guess, opportunities are coming his way, and good for him, man. He's 40, but hey, he's still doing something. You got to respect it. Got to give him some credit. I think a lot of people wrote him off, and he's making a big splash in the heavyweights. I think the boxing world is starting to notice.
They're woken up.
Yeah, they woke up. They opened their eyes, and they're like, okay, this guy's still here. He's still dangerous, and now he's mandatory. So you can't keep him out, man. Zhilei Zhang, the Big Bang, is coming into the heavyweight division.
Yes, very exciting. Very exciting. We'll see how that plays out. Plays out in the heavyweight scene.
Yeah, we just gotta wait for fucking Tyson Fury, man.
Gypsy King.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. There was a fight announced this past weekend. Officially now. Officially. No more rumors. No more, it's in the talks or whatever. It's now official. We finally got Salt Papi against Slim for the undercard of the prime card. That's another card of KSI and Tommy Fury. Very excited. For the longest time, we weren't sure, and I think the deal was kind of dead. You know what I'm saying? KSI telling Slim to go fight on Asher Witt's boxing promotion.
Yeah, go fight on Web Promotions, man.
But now it looks like either they paid Slim what he's deserved, or they just upped what the original purse was. But now it's official, and I think it's for. Is it for a belt, or is it just?
Yeah,
it's for a belt as well. So, really big addition to that card overall. Very excited. Has your guys' predictions changed since the last time?
Yeah. I just we've known Salt Papi was gonna fight on the prime card for a while now. He's been teasing it constantly. He's been in the gym, he's been teasing, and he's been saying it's a big name, big name. Man, I did not think it was Slim. I did not think it was Slim. Just like you were saying, there's so much. They had like so much. I wouldn't say beef, but a little back and forth. Slim with KSI, with Mams Taylor, with the whole Misfits card. I guess he thought he was a cash cow, and Misfits didn't see him that way. But yeah, I guess they reached an agreement now. Thankfully, thankfully the fans are the only ones that are it's better for us. So we get Salt Papi versus Slim in the undercard. This is a stacked card, man. Yeah. I'm getting more excited every time they announce a fight, man, because they're really trying to build this to be the best influencer night of all time. Not just of the year, of all time. So definitely excited. Slim, Slim is Slim. He stays ready. Very dangerous guy. And Salt Papi, he's looking in his final form, man. He looks completely different. He's a different man. He even got a haircut. Man, he looked like a Yakuza member, bro. He looked gangster, bro. Like, I was like, okay, he got the final form Salt Papi. But I'm just excited for the fight. I can't wait.
Yeah, answering your question about who, my predictions change, I'm still rocking with Slim. I believe this fight's a lot closer now based on just seeing. I know Salt Papi's been putting in that work. You can tell he's lost all that weight. He's looking good. And I can tell he's very serious about this. But at the same time, you got Slim, and I'm more than confident he's been also working and getting in shape, especially for, essentially, this is the biggest fight of both of their careers at the moment. But I'm still rocking with Slim. I just believe he has more power than Salt Papi, and he's going to use his reach, his height, and hopefully the second he lands that right hand, man, because we haven't seen Salt Papi's chin, been hurt or tested at all. So I'm interested to see how he reacts once that right hand lands, because Slim packs a punch. He's been knocking out guys heavier than him. And so he has power. He's been dropping. He's knocked out. So I'm interested to see how Salt Papi reacts to being actually hit by the right hand. And I believe that's gonna be the key for Slim, just landing that right hand. But I'm still rocking with Slim. I think he wins, but it'll be a close fight.
I don't remember my initial prediction if I went Slim or Salt Papi, but now I'm leaning towards Salt Papi.
Salt Papi?
Yeah, I think I am. I think mainly the reason is just like you pointed out. He's been in the gym, man. Like, he's so dedicated to boxing that A, I love to see that, just from on a personal level. But B, it just shows me, it gives me confidence that like he's taking this seriously. Like, I'm maybe Slim is working in the shadows and really working hard, but Salt Papi, there's evidence, receipts, proof, inevitably that boy is in the gym working. That's all he's doing. That's all he's thinking about. That's all. And, that's what it takes to win fights. I think one of the problems that he had early on in his career is that he just had too much hype. Just too much hype and not enough experience. I think the Anthony Taylor fight humbled him a little bit, but in a good way.
Yeah.
It showed him, hey, you're not the king of the world. You might have a lot of people looking at you. You might have skills.
Yes.
But you need experience, and you got to humble yourself, man. You're not the number one guy yet. So I think that changed something in Salt Papi. I think he's better now for it, more experienced, more hungry, and I see him pulling the victory against Slim.
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny. There's no denying that his transformation from his first fight to his transformation now is incredible. I saw in comments saying that's that one boxing anime. Ippo? And Ippo, yeah, they're like, that's him in the flesh. I mean, it's true, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's got no stomach. You can see a chin
He's
now.
got abs.
A jawline, abs, just everything. It looks like a completely different person. And yeah, I'm going to assume that just him also losing the weight, that's him also investing time and energy to perfecting his craft, going over, game plans and stuff like that, and everything else in between. So, I'm going to believe that Slim has also been in the gym as well, because you have to, like, being a boxer, it's not just, I got to fight now, it's time to train. It's a journey, it's a lifestyle. you know. But I'm still gonna rock with Slim. Slim's my boy. You know, they call him the Hitman for a reason. He's been in tough fights. He's been up against guys who are a lot bigger than him and stuff like that. And he's put them out as well. You know, put them to sleep. So I believe Salt Papi would be his toughest test up to date. But I believe he'll have the necessary skills and resources to overcome that. Even possibly like sleep him, as well. Because I'm interested to see how Salt Papi is able to handle something like that.
Well, I mean, I guess not a crazy insight, but we've seen Salt Papi eat some punches against Anthony Taylor. Now, Anthony Taylor is not the biggest puncher, He's definitely not the biggest puncher. He just has a lot of experience, makes fights difficult to score, makes it very rough and very messy in there. It's one of his specialties. But, in that fight, Anthony Taylor landed some punches. Salt Papi just ate them. Now, whether he can eat Slim's punches is a whole different story. We have yet to see. But I think Salt Papi should be able to. I don't think this fight's going to end in a knockout. I don't think either Slim is going to knock him out or Salt Papi is going to knock him out. But I think depending actually how much rounds is it going. I'm actually that's actually another interesting
Point.
note. Point. Depending on how many rounds, maybe change the prediction a little bit. But first thoughts, I think Slim, Salt Papi will be able to edge it out.
Edge it out? Yeah. Salt Papi. Slim. All right.
Got some Slim in the sense.
Slim.
Salt Papi, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be good, bro. It's like one of those, like, almost like 50-50 back and forth, a lot on line type stuff. They're both, they both got, the qualities and whatnot, but, yeah.
Yeah, this is a big card that Misfits is building, and I'm not sure if they're going to keep on. I'm sure, actually. I'm probably pretty sure.
It's a lot already now, though. I think that's
the last one. Oh, okay.
You got K Saitami, you got Logan, Danis. This fight, Salt Papi, Slim. You also got the rematch of Dean and Waleed. Boy, who?
Nick Lamau.
Nick Lamau. Yeah, I think there's two different tag team matchups as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then my boy Chase Demore as well.
Chase Demore is also fighting on there. I don't know how he keeps on getting an opportunity, man. That boy they just keep on offering him, and I'd do the same thing. I'd sign that contract as well. I don't blame him.
Yeah, so it's a pretty much stacked card if I'm already gonna be honest. Yeah, really great fights.
Yeah, Misfits definitely knows how to build a card, which is kind of ironic because sometimes you can tell when they put effort into a card and then when they don't put effort into a card. Because I feel there's
not much noise as well, attention around it.
I feel like there's a tangible difference when it's like KSI on the card to when it's like somebody else on the card. Like I feel like they don't put nearly as much effort. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. That's just me.
Well, anything else?
No.
You guys want to go over? I think we got it. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below or in the in our Discord in the description below. Who do you guys got for the Salt Papi, Slim, Canelo versus Charlo? Most importantly, let us know about that one. Final predictions right before the fight starts, right before the fight happens this coming week. Until then, it's been your boy Rulo,
Pablo,
Asa L.
And this has been the Last Round Boxing Podcast. Peace.